hippopotamus. Going to be joining me on the caster's table.
Testing, testing, audio test. All right, Gabe's not wearing headphones, which
unless my audio test worked out, because I can hear me and don't need his input.
I am wearing headphones.
Oh, well.
Alright, having some technical difficulties here.
Yeah, they were having a few technical difficulties in the room as well, but it was mostly headset based. So I pointed out to them that since they are
all in the lounge, they can just talk to each other. So I think that's what they're doing right now.
Okay.
Why do I?
To the briny deep.
Okay. And here we're going to see just the same draft that we saw before. The order will be different on here. This is the client draft. The PCL
Medardas
has
do not
opted
forgive
into a
or
fearless
forget.
draft system. As such,
We
we are
must
having
all
to use a
make our
third-party
choices.
draft system to ensure all picks and bans are carried out throughout the series.
I smell fear.
So as we're watching this draft go through, as they're all just picking their champions in order, what is it, or how do you expect each of these teams to play out? Like, what's the game plan? Having seen the full draft already, what are you thinking?
Sorry, say that one more time.
I was asking about the game plan of either team since we've seen the full draft. And
So, I think that the UC Lowell team is going to be looking at some larger team fights. They're going to look for some skirmishes and big team fights around objectives, whereas Pitt State going to be more of the skirmish and split. With that Yorick, going to be able to accomplish a lot in those side lanes. They have the Azir and the Poppy. With the Poppy ultimate coming out, they should be able to turn these 4v5 fights into 4v4 fights, which are going to be more beneficial for that Pitt State roster. With the Azir, with the Ashe, Pitt State really just going to be looking to skirmish, slow the fights down, play very nice and controlled League of Legends. We're not. I would expect that the Pitt State roster
I won't
be
be
looking
denied.
for really um, like full-on 5v5 fights. And I would like to see them just try to slow the objective fights down with that Ashe poke, with the Azir poke, using the Poppy, using the Alistair to peel, to make sure that, the University of Cincinnati never really has an opportunity to engage on those carries of Ash and Azir. But University of Cincinnati does have a lot of engaged tools in their kit here, with the Leona ultimate or her E. Jarvan has the Flag and Drag or his ultimate. Yone with his ultimate as well. And then Kaisa can ult in on top of any of those ultimates or engage abilities, and then Pitt State can get into a bit of an awkward spot. So they just really need to be tempered and controlled in their gameplay here, just keeping it nice and slow, not really letting the University of Cincinnati have their way. I think Cincinnati has a much easier composition to execute on, but if Pitt State executes well, their composition is a lot scarier to go against. But we'll just have to see. After the spectator delay, we will be back in about 3 minutes.
to Summoner's Rift.
Well,
Penn State going to be looking to favor that bottom side of the map here. Yeah, I think going to get spotted out there.
so we're doing 3-1. It looks like Pitt State does want to make something happen, but as he said, I think they get spotted out based on the caution that Leona is playing with.
Leona trying to bait them out of that brush. However, Cincinnati not going to look to get any deep vision. Oh, I say that. Jarvan and Hui looking to catch the Yorick here. Yorick cut off from his lane. Going to be late. Shouldn't miss any experience, though. Pitt State mid laner going to watch that. Can't make sure Jarvan wasn't sticking around, but he had just dropped some vision. And Leona going to make a play here, but Pitt State going to win out on this trade.
Yeah, Yone still going after the York, looking for an aggressive level 1. Forcing the flash, he flashes on the turret, and trades.
Nice trade there for the top laners. I think the Yone will win out on that one.
Yeah, that extra gold coming from the first blood makes that one in his favor for sure. But here we see in the bot lane hitting that level 2.
Leona gonna push forward. Like to see Lilac turn off. Lilac getting a little overextended. Should have gone back onto the Leona, left the Kaisa. But ends up getting caught out instead.
So Ash in the 2v1 gonna get hunted back towards tower, takes the flash, and gets to walk out.
Yeah, it's gonna be forced to use both summoners there. Gonna make them very gankable for this Jarvan. Yu going in on the Leona.
Might get it, one more. That's 2 and 2.
Nice little trade there from the Pitt State top laner. So gonna win out on this one. Jarvan is on the bot side of the map. Poppy starting in on her top side camps. Jarvan already with a full clear done. Lando with a nice little dodge. Lilac gonna spot the enemy jungle. However, gonna get pinched here now between...
Still only level 2. So that pinch main does not go his way. They're gonna get him walked out, but... Let's see. Strong warding from both teams going downriver. It looks like the junglers are currently rotated on the top side of the map, just continuing their clear with no real objectives up for now. Just looking to get some farm in.
Bot lane gonna get pushed in here. Like to see the Poppy make something happen here on the top side, but Yorick gonna be on the reset here. High shot going out, gonna spot the Jarvan there. See the pinks coming out on that Jarvan, they know he is bot side. And the Pitt State bot lane gonna show some respect here. Although Lilac gets a nice combo there onto the Kaisa. Good little chip damage. Now Poppy going to reset in the mid lane. I'd like to see the Poppy actually make a play on this way. And here comes the Jarvan, going to sneak his way into that rush. Pitt State should know that he's in the area, but not knowing exactly where he is. With that vision cone going down, though, they'll know they need to be careful. And it looks like Jarvan is thinking about starting up that dragon.
Yeah, and they may know he's in the area, but if you can toggle that fog of war, you'll see that Pitt State has no wards down on that side and is not seeing them. So they know that they should be there, but don't have the specifics. So they have to blind check this dragon.
Pitt State going to force their way in here now. Like I said, we'd like to see them take these fights slow, but Lilac diving in. A nice ult going to come out, but Pitt State just doesn't have the damage.
Flashing in on top of them with that Azir. It was a beautiful shuffle, but getting no kills. They're just gonna throw a full fight. 4 for 3, or excuse me, 4 for 1. And the dragon.
Yeah, they're actually going to trade up that Leona and the Yone, I think, there in that fight. But, crucially, Cincinnati got the first kill in that exchange. So that first feat of warfare going over to Cincinnati.
Yeah, and we've seen this a few times from the Pitt State roster this season, drafting for playing a little bit slower and then trying to force fights, and traditionally hasn't worked out in their favor, but...
Delurbs going in here. Might have been a little bit of an overextension there, but Lendo doesn't want to take the fight. Just look to reset. Lendo has a nice lead there in that bottom lane. 2 kills.
Top lane.
Or, in the top lane, yes. 2 kills to 1. You got a 200 gold lead there in the top lane, despite Pitt State being down by nearly 2K.
Starting up the Grubs, UC just getting a good rotation. Have 3 members on the objective. And Pitt State, I don't think even knows or sees they're there.
Pitt State not going to be able to contest it. But Lendo now going to come down and check. We'll spot out. And you going to get rooted up here by Delurbs. Jarvan going in as well. You now going to come down. Looking to take this fight, actually. Should be trying to run away, but not going to make it happen. Lendo, however, just being a monster in this top lane. Cincinnati going to have to respond to him eventually. This Jarvan on the top side of the map, stealing away the Poppy's camps here. Could look to gank through that top lane brush.
He could, but here we're going to see
Poppy gonna spot him out.
catching him. Does see him. We see those repeat pings, but with the flag and drag to get him over the wall when he wants it, he's just going to walk away.
And Maiden going to get taken out here. Lando just going to back off.
So, as not a top lane player, I do have a question. When does the Maiden go on cooldown? Is it when she's summoned, or
When she
not
dies.
until?
Yeah, when the Maiden dies, that is when the cooldown begins.
Leona landing that Zenith Blade onto Ashe, so they're going to dive all the way. Ooh,
Ashe
and
Hero just going wide. Would have been critical there under that lane, but Ashe going to trade one back, and Pitt State should be able to get this fight here. And Pitt State will get the trade. Bot lane for bot lane. Lendo looking for a solo kill here in the top lane. Commanding lead. He has the 1 level advantage. And that is really where the advantage comes in. Even though he's only down 100 gold, he's down a full level here.
The Isles remember.
Pitt State top laner going to be a massive threat if they don't shut him down soon. And Yone sees his play, going to go in.
York's strong, but he has no mana to fight here.
Barely going to walk away. And Leona caught out in the river, looking for some wards. Going to get collapsed on by 3 members of Pitt State. That will be a nice pick.
Absolutely beautiful. That is exactly what you want to see. Even catching the dash to Poppy with Poppy's wall.
And with
There's
just 10
just
seconds
nothing
left
to do.
on that, sorry. I can't think of the name of the fire drake.
Infernal.
Okay, it was Infernal.
Dragon spawned. So that next dragon will be increasing the damage output for whichever team claims it, with Infernal Dragon boosting both their attack damage and ability power.
Now, I would have liked to see Pitt State actually go for that dragon after getting the Leona pick. Jarvan gonna dive in on the Pitt State jungler. 2-level disadvantage here. You gonna try to get him trapped in that cage, and shutdown gonna go on to the Azir. However, the Pitt State bot lane getting dove here. Clean dive there, and they get the cleanup in the top lane too. Jarvan.
Azir making it out.
2 members of Pitt State gonna walk out low. Way also gonna be set to reset here. Nicely executed dive there from the Cincinnati bot lane. Timing the CC from the Leona, timing the dash with the Kai'Sa ult to get away. Just beautiful play there. And somehow, Lendo has lost his level advantage. Actually now a level behind. Be curious to see what happened here that he...
Forced out of farm, I'm not sure where, but he had been leading the farm game up to this point, and currently is down 15. But once again, we're going to trade even with Yone going super aggressive on the dive and catching some turret shots on his way out. That's both top laners complete their first full item, but Yone also getting to complete his boots.
Cincinnati with turret plating fallen up with a 3k gold advantage and looking for their second dragon here. Pitt State going to come in on this fight once again. I'd like to see them slow this down a bit, but they're just going in.
With that dragon, they do get the feat of monster slaying. That's 2 dragons and the grubs.
Pitt State really needs to slow down these fights, utilize their poke to make the opponents have to back up, but just really getting too aggressive in these objective fights. Now with Lendo down in CS and behind a level, they don't even have their Yorick win con.
It's good to see you.
And you are going to get taken down. A solo kill going over to the Cincinnati top laner.
But once again, catching the Leona out in the river. Full members of the Pitt State team.
I'm going to try to walk away from this one. Not going to be able to make it happen, though. We'll send that kill over to NA Moonboy. And Ash will welcome that sudden gold influx.
Serve me.
Yeah, so once again, UC just being very, very aggressive in that Pitt State jungle. This time it's Yone doing most of it, but
Cincinnati doing a good job of shutting down the Pitt State jungler. You see the CS difference there between the two junglers. Jarvan has nearly double the amount of CS and is up 3 levels. That amounts to 1,000 gold difference there between the two junglers.
they're just going to keep widening that gap by adding in the Rift Herald.
Nice ultimate layering there between the Cincinnati players. Yone gonna get the ult onto 2. Kai's gonna take her ult over the wall to chase down the escaping Azir.
And Yone, now being up with his levels and taking his lead, gets to teleport top and defend from that Yorick split push.
And this game is quickly snowballing out of control for the Pitt State roster. They need to slow it down, but they're just not letting their foot off the pedal here.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Just seeing constant hyper aggression coming out of this Pitt State roster. Even now,
And we're seeing
teleporting
more.
onto the Kaisa. Blue Twin gonna push back into his team. Kaisa forced to flash up, gonna get the kill. Will be taken down, but ends up getting the trade.
The Moonboy with the early flash, not gonna save him, but there's just so much CC that Pitt State has there to try and bail everybody out. Looks like it will manage it between the Alistair and Poppy, but Poppy not so lucky, gonna get caught out, and Alistair same thing. Cincinnati's on the hunt.
Cincinnati should be able to break open the base here. Yorick, only one there to defend. Azir now coming back. They might be able to stop this full push here.
Good push on the Leona, trying to push everybody out of their jungle, but still outnumbered. Pitt State maybe getting caught in their own jungle. Kaisa
Kaisa
ults
gonna
in
dive
to
in.
take one.
Lando now in the 1v1 here, gonna have to flash to get away. Still gonna get tagged by the ultimate and will still go down. And what was once Pitt State's strongest win condition is now just getting absolutely crushed here on the sideline. I think what it was having the Yorick respond to some of those fights in the jungle there, trying to help the Poppy from having her entire jungle stolen, but Pitt State really needed to just focus on keeping that Yorick ahead.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Yeah, and with Cincinnati picking up their 3rd dragon, they're now just one off from Soul Point on the Kimtech Drakes.
Yorick now 2 levels behind his opponent in the top lane. Just kind of a hopeless position to be in as a top laner.
Yeah, and we can see Cincinnati sending their team topside. They're gathering for Otacon as the objective that's up on that side.
Herald gonna get dropped, should be running mid. Jarvan not gonna be able to pilot it through that gap in the jungle though. Pit State should be able to drop this, however they have started up the Atacon. That will go uncontested as Pit State is having to deal with this Rift Herald in their mid lane. Nice headbutt there from Lilac, keeping his AD carry safe from that Yone ultimate.
So that's the one issue with having so much CC spread out, is actually with both tackling, the headbutt
Blue team's turret has been
was the
destroyed.
worst of the two options, with him and Poppy both charging immediately when that ult landed.
Yone now charging in, chasing after the Azir. Azir gonna be forced to flash here, but Jarvan should be able to have him still. Gets the knockup,
Flag and Drag still has his ult.
and that will be Azir going down in the bottom lane. Pit State now trying to come over to help, but a little too late. Cincinnati doesn't have the wave in the bot lane here just yet. Pit State just getting pulled in every direction. So what can Pitt State do to get back into the game here?
Well, do they want to start fighting for neutrals, or take the dangerous route and hope that they can luck into an Elder Dragon? Because so far they are completely shut out of all of the epic monsters, both on the purple Void side. They didn't get any Grubs or Rift Herald, or not Herald,
Yep, Herald.
yeah, Herald, Shelly. And they're 0 for 3 on the Dragons as well, so...
Yeah, the Pitt State jungle got put really far behind here by that Jarvan. Strong invades coming out from the Cincinnati jungler. I think what I'd like to see is for Pitt State to just try to turtle up here, get some wave clear, keep some vision down on that Baron, give away the dragon. We don't want to even try to contest it. And Poppy going to dive in here, but just going to walk away. Leona is pretty tanky at this point.
Yeah, and I would like to see vision held on the Baron, but to do that, they first have to get out of base and have vision down anywhere. That's part of the issue with Cincinnati, just constant pressure. Pitt State seems kind of stuck here.
And Yone going to dive in on the Azir, will get taken down. And just a monster in the top lane. Does anybody on the Pitt State roster have heal cut? No, they do not. Yone just able to sustain through that fight long enough to take out yet another. He gets 2 in a 1v5. I think I'd like to see the Azir and perhaps the Poppy or the Yorick to build some life steal or Grievous Wounds here. Alistair going to pick up the first Grievous Wounds item for Pitt State.
Yeah, and like you said, no contest on that dragon. We're going to watch Cincinnati just go ahead and take that for free. There's nothing Pitt State could do to change that, even if they wanted to. So, Cincinnati going to get the Kimtech Soul, which gives them increased damage and reduces damage taken while under 50% health.
See, but I'd like Pitt State to have gotten some vision down on the Baron while they knew that Cincinnati was on the Dragon here. But instead, Cincinnati going to get both neutral objectives for free. Pitt State not in a place to contest this now when they could have been.
So you wanted them to turtle, but now what are they turtling against?
Yeah, and see, this is why we needed to have that vision down on the Baron. We had to know when they were going for it.
Alright, Yone feeling himself, looking for the dive. Ashe ulting him point blank and flashing away, and Yone still managing to trade even in the 1v4, almost 1v5, so
And that
he's
was
pulling all the pressure.
that was sustained through grievous wounds that had been applied to him by the Alistair. Still able to get enough damage out to take down the Ashe. And at this point, it's just a really desperate position for Pitt State to be in. Can they hold out for the next 4 minutes? That is the question. They have to hold out for the next 4 minutes and then get a lucky steal on the Elder Dragon, turn that team fight, and maybe that can be enough to bring them back into this game. Otherwise, I think it might just be curtains here for Pitt State.
Yeah, it's looking pretty bad for Pitt with the siege going through their base, Baron minions in multiple lanes, down, checks notes, 15,000 gold, 14,000, I can do math.
Yep.
It looks
Two
like
inhibitors going down.
Cincinnati's trying to close
No, you
this
get a
out.
flash ult forward just to push them back off of the inhibitor or Nexus turrets here. That will be one Nexus turret going down. Pitt State going to go in on this fight, and Kaisa going to be forced to zone as Leona ult coming out. Ashe going to back away. Pitt State going to get the first kill
Got the
here. Azir
numbers,
onto Leona.
5v4.
Azir gets 2. Ashe gets 3,
I get
and
3.
Pitt State turns 3 for 2. Pitt State going back in. Yone not done with this fight. Lendo not done either. Pitt State or Yone has the
Guardian Angel.
Angel. Gonna take down the Ashe and then reset. I don't think that these two can take him down.
I don't think
he
they
has
have the
too much
damage.
sustain.
Unless they can get a lucky laser.
Destroyed.
Poppy with the tackle into the fountain. They're looking for it, pushing him that way. Not quite far enough.
Yone gonna look to end right here, and that will be game number 1 going the way of the University of Cincinnati.
A summoner has disconnected.
Really
Alrighty.
unfortunate we didn't get to see some of those synergies. We almost saw it one time with the Poppy tackle, which turns into a stun if she hits into any sort of terrain.
Yeah. So, some post-game analysis here that Yone coming up huge for Cincinnati. However, he will be taken off the table for the rest of the series. Pitt State, like we said, they had a much more difficult comp to execute on. They needed to play these fights a bit slower. They needed to have a controlled pace of the game. They needed to look for these skirmishes around the objectives while keeping that Yorick fed in the top lane. Yorick got off to a great start, had the level lead, but then had to respond to some fights going on in the topside jungle, and that pulled him off of a massive wave lost to the top lane turret as he was forced to reset after that fight. And that ended up putting him a level behind, and it was just too much to handle for Pitt State from there. So we'll see what adjustments Pitt State makes going into game number 2. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after a short break. Alrighty. We are back in the draft for game number 2. Pitt State once again on the red side. UC Black opting to take blue side for their pick here. Pitt State going to lock in their bot and mid lane as once again UC Black is targeting out their mid laner with bans. Morgana going to get locked in, I assume either mid or jungle. Interesting pick there with the Thresh.
Well, we did see in the last draft they teased it as a potential mid lane pick before locking in that Hui. So we're seeing a lot of the same bans as game 1, but in a slightly different order. Notable changes, though. Pitt State this time opting to ban Tom Kinch, as that's UC's most played sport. Before game 1, there was discussion about banning either Tom Kinch or Thresh, so...
Alrighty, Malphite going to get locked in as that final ban for UC Black, and Crimson going to lock in Set for their top lane. Aatrox going to be hovered here. We'll see if he actually gets locked in this time. He was hovered there on the first time around.
Thinking of Aatrox. Nope.
Gonna swap over to the Pantheon. Think Pantheon is slightly favored in this set matchup. Lee Sin gonna be the jungler of choice here for UC Black.
Or not.
Actually gonna swap out with a late pick onto the Rengar.
So UC Black just looking to make picks and murder as they go. Full Assassin Rengar. Pantheon normally on the burstier side. That's why he's slightly favored into the Set matchup, as Set traditionally excels at fighting tanks. We'll have to see if they go for early invades. Plenty of power to make some early kills happen, especially with that surprise damage in the Rengar Q at level 1. Okay, so they just filled in to on client be doing that same draft. And at the same time as that happened, I see in PCL it updated to where we do have the Game 2 tournament code now.
Yeah, but it
So-
was too
We
late.
must all make our choices.
Well, right, that's why I was mentioning it, because I believe that they might have gone for a remake like they ended up doing with Game 1. But if we can manually report the scores, then no need for that.
Yeah, it just makes it so that in the PCL records you can see what champions were played.
I'll come back stronger.
So, as we were saying in the other draft screen there, UC Lowell,
I smell
Cincinnati
fear.
over here with a pick comp. Going to be highly dependent on maintaining strong vision control. Pitt
I
State
won't
has
be
been
denied.
lacking in that area. However, this past game, the Pitt State
Medardus do
support
not
actually had a
forgive
higher vision
or
score
forget.
than their counterpart. So perhaps Pitt State has been working on it a bit. We'll see if they're able to avoid any face checks here. Pitt State with a stronger team fighting comp with the Misfortune and Nautilus. Diana with the Engage gets them all clumped in together for that Misfortune. Ari able to skirt around the fight, and Set able to dive right in. With his ultimate going to get him clumped up for the Misfortune. So
Well, we'll have to see if that set can go straight in. A lot of damage and a lot of CC on the Cincinnati side. Like you said, looking to keep things rolling by keeping kills rolling, and as beefy as set gets, uh, catching one Morgana Q who's got him held there for 3 seconds.
yeah, I
And that's
think
without juggling or layering CC from anyone else.
this time around Pitt State has the easier comp to execute here, but once again, if UC Lowell is able to maintain a strong vision control, the picks will be just coming out of nowhere. Pitt State won't have time to react, and they'll be dead before they know it. And then those fights go a very different way with one or two members taken off the board before the fight even starts. So we'll see how these players are able to pilot the compositions that they have drafted for themselves. And we'll be with you here in about 3 minutes. we are back here in game number 2. Pitt State on the red side, Cincinnati on the blue. And Cincinnati going to look at a standard opening here, although not going to catch the top of that jungle. Pitt State could look to get a bit of a deep vision in on there, but they're going to be content. Nope, actually going to look to start walking that way. And, oh, they could be catching the Thresh. Hook going to go just wide. Charm going to land, however. And Thresh going to be forced to flash. Not going to be able to get over the wall, though. RA might be able to run him down. Not going to do it, though. Just going to drop a couple of wards and back off. Thresh going to be down a flash, though. Lilac going to be kicking himself for missing that hook.
Yeah, watching the Rengar maybe picking it set or just getting a ward in the chickens. Just a ward on the chickens.
However, with that delay, Rengar is going to be... No, he will make it back to his on time. Nice trade there from the Pitt State mid laner.
Having that level 1 charm still getting to proc the electrocute. Oh, taking
Lando.
that level 2, he's in trouble.
7 up just a little too far. However, Lilac going to get the catch here. But Pitt State
Same
bot lane,
thing
not
on
level
the other
2.
end.
Will get the level now, but coming in just too late.
Well, level might have saved him, so I don't know if I'd go so far as to say too late, but having to burn the flash there is not what Pitt State's looking to do.
However, Pitt State jungler going to go in on that flashless Thresh.
And get dragged to the tower for it. Taking the flash early. Oh, we're flashing in. Gets 1, trades 1 back.
And
And
Rengar
Rengar's
going to go on the hunt now. Flashing over. Going to get pulled by the Nautilus. Pitt State going to look to fight this, and that will be the feat of warfare going over to Cincinnati as a double kill for Xayah comes through. And Pitt State just rushing that fight a little bit too much, getting a little greedy. And once that flash comes through, we get the hook. Instead of going onto the Rengar, I think we should have just been going away, perhaps after rooting him up.
yeah, and critically, all three of those kills are landing on the Xayah. So having not backed yet, 3 kills is gonna come up huge.
Already 800 gold lead on the Cincinnati bot laner. This hook not going to go wide. Going to get the Thresh caught up here. And a Moonboy going to try to chase him down. But Thresh will be able to walk out of this one. And the reason this is such a Pantheon-favored matchup in the top lane is Pantheon has that strong engage, and the way that... Oh, good save in the bot lane. Moonboy going to look for another kill here. But
And they're
not
just
going to
not
make it
quite
happen.
fast enough. Even with that strut.
Lilac going to get the hook to save the 80 carry. Moonboy going to get the kill. Xayah flashing forward. And Pantheon might be getting another kill here on his lonesome.
Yeah, so
And-
Pitt State's still just trying to force, and it's not working for them.
Pitt State, 5 minutes in, already 2K gold behind. Just getting a little too aggressive. Although Misfortune did nearly have the shutdown on that Xayah, it's got to be tough watching that one walk away. I don't know about that snare. Nautilus going to get a bit of vision down on the dragon. Actually not opting to drop a ward. Doesn't have it quite available. I think that control would have been better suited on the dragon. Pitt State with 4 in the bot lane.
And they know they're unseen. Well, they're seen now, but on the approach knew that they weren't getting caught out because of that control ward, so they're going to 4v2. Get
Nice
the first one.
dive there. Pitt State will get one traded back, but 80 carry for support. And the shutdown.
Yeah, so not enough to save his carrier, but masterful play there on Thresh, getting the play on all of Pitt State to push them up to tower. And then the hook to secure one in his favor. Pantheon.
As I was saying, in that matchup, the way that Set likes to play his fights, he wants to take as much damage as he can before popping his W. However, if he waits and he throws that W after he's taken all that damage from the Pantheon, he throws that W out, but then Pantheon has his E available, or is it his W, that prevents all damage from one direction. And so it just cancels out the entire combo from Lendo. And there's just really nothing he can do about it.
Alright, gathering bot side. It looks like we're going to have a fight for dragons soon.
Luquin going to push out that mid lane. A lot of pings going into that top lane there. We have the Pitt State jungler and the Pitt State mid both roaming up. However, UC Lowell, enemy mid laner, also coming up to join this party in the top lane. Pitt State will have the roam off first.
Set getting caught out.
Shutdown going to be picked up here by Ari. Diana. Root going off onto Minnow. Lux with a double kill. Or Luquin with a double kill on the Ari. And here's a third triple kill for the Pitt State mid laner. That is what we like to see. That is what Pitt State needed to come back into this fight. Triple kill going over onto Pitt State. I'd like to see them pick up these Void Grubs after that fight, but going to opt to get the reset. Set teleporting into the top lane, going to try to push this wave in. Bit of resource mismanagement there from Pitt State. I would have liked to see the remaining players of that Pitt State roster actually shove in that wave for Set so he doesn't have to burn the teleport to get back to lane.
Yeah, it's just a lot of little things stacking against that Pitt State team. For example, we saw just there as the Set does get the rose for them, but takes one auto
We
before
see
they
some
left.
calls coming out. Pitt State going to start up the Mountain Dragon.
This time we do see that full vision control. While Cincinnati does have vision on the pit, they've dragged it out enough that they can't see the dragon itself.
And like we were saying in this early game, if Cincinnati wants to win this one, they have to have the vision control.
Just really, really good play by Pitt State there, because the dragon was warded, but they were able to pull it out and know with their control ward. Just hang on, we've got a fight breaking out mid. Diana with the ult, Ari going in, doesn't get one, but they're going to keep chasing with the ult. Get another spear dash, makes one.
However, Pantheon gonna be forced to flash, but will get the kill here. Both sums coming out from the Cincinnati top laner. Set, however, going to be able to push this one in and should be able to get at least one plate, maybe two there. Set, very good at taking towers. Just going to take one and walk away. Looks like Rengar could be going in on those grubs.
Yeah,
Gonna
and
get one.
Pitt State
Teleport
season.
coming out from Ari. And Pitt
they're
State
just gonna
going to
clap.
get the steal, and that will be Rengar getting taken down. Pitt State gets the grub, and that should be all grubs going to Pitt State. However, Pitt State mid laner. Now here in a
Pantheon's looking
2v3.
for one. Alright, that's the second grub. Still have the numbers, but Pantheon's hunting. Diana's out. No more jungler for Pitt State. Third grub dying.
And I'm not sure who actually got that last one.
Diana. So it does also go to Pitt State. Well, they're split 2-1, so I missed one of them, but it did say the last one went to Diana, so...
Well, so it said that Diana had slain the Void Grubs because she got two of the three.
Two of the three. Got it.
But I do believe that Morgana picked up that last one. Cincinnati bot laner going to pick the kill on Lilac.
Playing on a razor's edge, but with the invulnerability and untargetability from the ult. It gets to spray the feather daggers and get herself out.
We saw Pitt State was down 2k gold at 5 minutes, and they have now brought that back almost back up to even. They're just about 700 gold short now. Most of that going to be on that top laner. Yeah, nearly, well, over 2k gold lead on the top laner alone. The rest of the Pitt State roster, though, hanging even or taking a lead.
Yeah, and that mid lane Ari at 7-1, currently with both buffs. So they're going to be looking to make plays here.
Alright, going to look to chase down this Rengar. Will just walk away, however.
Don't know if they see the Morgana coming.
Ari's just going to keep running up this river. Going to come in on the Pantheon. He did not spot it until it was too late. And a lot getting invested into that kill on the Pantheon. Really investing a lot to shut down the Cincinnati top lane. This will let Lendo get back into the game. See now, and here's the thing about this matchup that I had not discussed with the set into Pantheon. Pantheon has the early to mid game, but once you get sufficiently far into the game, the set starts to come back as they get to their full item builds. The set just becomes too tanky for the Pantheon to burst down, and then he has that sustain to bring himself back into the fight.
Beautiful dodge with that Spirit Rush.
Not going to be able to see that fight. Pitt State taking fights all across the map here. LeQuinn going to get the solo kill in the mid lane. Pitt State going to work on 3 to get the kill on the Cincinnati support. Just 19 seconds left before this dragon spawns. I'd like to see Pitt State get their second Drake of the game.
And they're queuing up for it as much as you want them to. We can see them sweeping for wards right now and currently have a full box all the way around that lower pit.
However, Dupuisi going to push forward. Moonboy being forced to throw barrier. Going to try to dodge away. Is not able to stay alive long enough. Teleport's coming out. Rengar on the chase. Diana going to come in, ulting onto that enemy bot laner.
They need this kill, otherwise they're going to be down on numbers.
Teleport. However, that kill going to be traded back. And now LeQuinn could be in a bit of danger. Does not have his ultimate. Does have flash. Flashes the other way, looking to get aggressive and get the kill. Not going to be able to trade it back, though. Cincinnati going to hold strong in that bottom lane fight, and they will take their prize of that Hextech Dragon.
long as they're there, clear out the vision that they know Pitt State has, take some free gold by cleaning up the wards, and even up the Drake count.
And LeGuen going to go in straight away onto the Morgana. Going to get another solo kill. This Morgana pick not accomplishing what Cincinnati had hoped it would.
Well, with so much of a lead on that Ahri, the black shields for Morgana no longer block enough, and so they're suffering those charms anyways. And Lupin knowing and recognizing that and just immediately going every time so that they can get wanders like this to make more.
Another triple play in that top lane. Pantheon going to be able to walk away from this one. But Pitt State should look for the Rift Herald here. Pantheon going to be forced to reset. No teleport available either.
Yeah, so it looks like Pitt State is starting up that Herald.
And Lilac going to be forced to flash there. Going to go back in, though, however. Forcing out the enemy ult, but it's just not quite what they were wanting there. Pitt State bot lane bites off more than they can chew.
Securing the Herald and having the numbers, once again doing the 3v1 on the Pantheon.
And Pantheon going to get taken down yet again. Pitt State not allowing that top laner to shine here. But with that tower going down, that will be the feats once again getting accomplished by Cincinnati.
Yeah, but Pitt State with a much stronger showing here in Game 2. It looks like they are learning from their mistakes. You can see
Luke Wynn, you can't go in there. Going to be forced to ult away and will just barely get to safety. You, though, diving in. Here comes the Rengar ultimate. Going to dive in onto Lilac. Going to get slowed up. Going to get taken low, but will get out. And the root coming down. Disaster for Pitt State here.
Moonboy, you just gotta
be
run.
Forced to flash. He will make it to safety. A lot of members very low on that Cincinnati side. Pitt State just not quite able to get them cleaned up there.
Yeah, a bit of caster cursing. I was starting to say it looks like Pitt State was learning their lesson, had strong defensive wards, and had been taking the fights they wanted, but then we go diving over the wall and get turned back like that.
Yeah, the aggression coming in there from Gyu, just a little too much for Pitt State to handle.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Alrighty, Pitt State still hanging in there. That last fight did set them back about 2K. And a little more like 2.5K behind at this point. Bot laners, level discrepancy here. Another level discrepancy in the jungle as well.
You're really
The only bright spot, really, this Ahri in the mid lane for Pitt State. Thresh gonna get a hook. Nautilus gonna lock him down. The Charm gonna get him, and that will be a kill going over to the Pitt State AD carry. Pitt State now gonna push this mid lane in. 13 seconds left on Cloud Drake. They're gonna summon up the Rift Herald.
They're pinging for that dragon and rotating as a group.
Team's turret has been destroyed.
Mid lane turret going to be dropped down. Pitt State has all 5 members ready for this fight at the Dragon Pit. They're going to start it up immediately.
Don't have vision this time. They have everybody, but this time they don't have vision. And I don't know if they realize Pantheon's there.
Pantheon could have snuck into that bush.
This may be a trap for Pitt State, getting pinched now. 3 on one on the other side. They're taking a split fight. Rengar gets not quite the Nautilus. Yeah. Ari coming back through on the backside, might be able to turn it. Does get the Rengar. 4 for 2. 4 for 2. And the dragon.
They will take the dragon as well. Pitt State not doing a proper job of setting up. LeQuinn going to teleport back to the mid lane, going to look to prevent them from taking this one down. But it will still fall.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
No ultimate available, can't really afford to get too aggressive. Heel cut coming in there for the Pitt State support. Dupuisi going to take that red buff on his way out. Going to look to take the Krugs as well. Maybe rotating up to look at that top lane, but Set will be there to clear out that that wave of minions.
Yeah, so Cincinnati once again looking to just deny resources by constantly farming from Pitt State's side of the jungle. They had been doing a good job holding them back, but
We see Q
Cincinnati.
suffering as a result, 2 levels behind his Cincinnati counterpart.
Rengar gonna move forward, does know that he's seen.
Q, once again, getting a little too aggressive here, gonna get caught up by the Thresh Hook, and will go down once more.
Critically though, realizing that he's caught out, Lilac not trying to save him and throwing his life away as well. We see that super commonly with all kinds of supports. But
And here's a setup for Pitt State in the bot lane. Pantheon overstays his welcome, gonna get charmed up, gonna get rooted, and he will be going down here for sure. Gonna get picked up there by Moon Boy. However, Cincinnati with a similar setup in the top lane. Will Lendo be able to fare better? He has that shield. Gonna get rooted, not gonna get hooked up, crucially.
4th blade. That Thresh has got to be kicking himself over
And
that
you
one.
now here for the support.
Yeah, it looks like all of Pitt State is rotating towards that top side, with Ari and Misfortune moving up through the mid lane. Nautilus to join them. They might be looking to make a pick, but they are seen. They know it.
Gonna get hooked here, and Thresh goes for it, gonna take the play, but he's actually just going to have to flash over that wall. Will still get picked up. LeQuinn still gonna charge forward. Rengar, though, gonna look to come back. Has to flash away. Here comes Pantheon, ulting in behind, but he's just cut himself off. And now Pitt State in a tricky spot here. Pantheon cuts off the retreat. LeQuinn forced to flash away. Pantheon still chasing.
Rengar out of the bushes, or out of his ult rather, unseen from that
Cincinnati
jump.
gonna turn this one around. Moon Boy doesn't know he's on an ultimate, or on a ward. Charm coming out. Moon Boy gonna get stunned up, not gonna be able to lock this one out, and disaster in these past few minutes here for Pitt State. These team fights just keep getting a little too messy for them. Not really able to get them focused up, and we see some pings coming out onto the Baron. This should be an easy Baron secure here for Cincinnati, but we'll see. You might be heading that direction, but he might just be going to push out the mid lane.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It was a clean ace, all 5 for 1. And so Pitt State can be assuming that they're on the Baron, but doesn't see it happening.
Yu reckons he's not going to be able to make it in time. Opts to just shove out that mid wave and go to clear the rest of his jungle. And things are starting to snowball out of control here for Pitt State. Ari still with an advantage in the mid lane for Pitt State, but no longer up 2 levels. And Gyu is now down 4. Moonboy down 3. Lilac down 2. It's not what you want to see if you're the Pitt State team. And gonna dive in there. One gonna get traded off. Minnow gonna be taken down here by Diana. And Pitt State might have a fight here, but no. Gonna trade 3 for 2.
Ari's still looking to close out, catch the Zaya on the backside.
I'm just gonna reset instead. Just say jungler's gonna get run down here by the top of the mid lane.
But that is buying time on the Dragon. Rather than just taking it, they're going to be distracted chasing the Diana and give Ari plenty of time to come back and rejoin this fight.
Diana gonna get rooted up here, but should have the smite. That will be an objective bounty getting claimed, as well as the kill going on to the Ari. However, Gyu will be traded back for it. But Pitt State does get the Dragon there. They'll take that nice little consolation prize. Ari gonna get spotted out on this recall. But will cancel the recall. And thinks they're safe, but Ari's stuck around, canceling that back. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Cincinnati going to take down that turret and Lendo to boot. Lendo tries to flash behind, but Tpuizi with the ultimate to stay alive. Going to get the pick onto Lendo. LeQuinn, though, chasing down the Thresh, backs off, expecting a hook to be flying out of the bush. And that is the end of that Baron play. Next objectives are all 3 minutes out, spawning very close together. I'd like to see Pitt State forsake the Dragon in favor of the Baron, but I don't know if we're going to be able to, if they're going to have the luxury of making that decision.
Looks like once again they're trying to multi-man that Pantheon.
Pantheon going to try to walk forward, but will just be going straight into the waiting arms of a Nautilus Hook. Will get taken down once again in that side. However, Pitt State on the other side going to get a similar play on their top laner. Teams will trade top laners in the side lanes. However, Cincinnati, with a wave here, are going to be able to take a turret as well. Moonboy going to get caught out here. The Rengar ultimate going to stop his back. Unfortunate timing there for that Pitt State AD carry. Is going to get their back canceled.
Has the lantern in there.
But can't click on it. Pitt State doing an excellent job of blocking that lantern off and is going to get taken down here. Gyu with the kill.
Yeah, just too many people stacked on top of each other, can't grab that lantern. You saw the Thresh being as patient as he could and waiting until his teammate was gone, but...
And Sakan says, you're all alone now. Where's your Ari? Where's your set? Gets a bit of revenge on that Diana.
Beautiful pick, but the Ari and Set are in the mid lane.
Luke Quinn now
setting up
in a bit of
their
trouble.
battle.
Face checks the bush. Lilac tries to save Moonboy, ends up just pulling himself to his own death. Lendo going to have to hold out here. 30 seconds, only member available. Cincinnati has the wave, has 4 members. No, make it 5 as Morgana teleports in. Lendo just going to get bursted down. And this will probably be the end of game number 2 and the series. Disaster strikes for Pitt State in the later half of this map. They showed a bit of life in that mid-game, bringing back an early deficit of 2,000. They bring back to even, but those mid to late game team fights getting just a little too messy for them, and Cincinnati snowballs out of control. We see here much more even scoreboards. Pitt State, Olaquin, absolutely dominant for them. 37, almost 38k damage, nearly tying the Dupuisi Zaya there for the most damage in the game. And Gyu going to be the one taking the most damage, however, also with the most deaths to boot. Just getting a little too aggressive on some of these plays here. Overall, well played from both teams. We saw some good moments from each team there, but Cincinnati going to take the victory here. You got anything else to add?
Yeah, I wanted to add that even though it didn't work out, I did appreciate the adjustments made by that Pitt State team, recognizing that Sakan on the top lane had been the full carry last time with almost 50% of the total damage in game. Had a lot more focus there, and we can see it worked out as his numbers are reduced from what they had been, but just wasn't enough.
Yep. Well, thank you for joining us today. This has been our Pitt State Esports League of Legends team. You'll have to join us tomorrow. We have Rocket League on the docket. Later this week, we have Overwatch and Valorant, and then Counter-Strike as well. But that'll be all for us tonight. You have a good rest of your evening, and thanks for watching.